Oh, we're going to get started after this track right here. Thank you for joining on. We hope, we pray that everybody is well and will be better. Subscribe to the channel. All right, family, we're going to have another track, and then we're going to get into this. Thank you, my friends and family. Yes, after this track, we're going to get started. Thank you for participating. Alrighty, family, how's everybody doing? We're going to pull up the PowerPoint and get into this. Thank you for that, brothers and sisters. Okay, okay. How's everybody doing? We hope, we pray that everybody is well and will be better. This is your brother and your friend, Yeshaya Yisrael of the tribe of Dan of the house of Israel. This particular presentation, if we will, brothers and sisters, is again brought to you from Danitepublications. We do not claim to know everything, and we are open to constructive criticism. Interesting. During the time of what we're talking about now and what we call quote unquote Black History Month, there has been for quite some time people saying that we were, quote, never in Africa, while some of them are saying that, quote, it is, quote, Mother Africa. So we have to ask the question, if it is, quote, mother, how can you say you don't come from it? Secondly, if you're saying that you are of the house of Israel, of the children of Israel, and the majority of the history of the Old Testament is about the Israelites, how then can you say that we are not from the lands of the East, but are from the lands of the West? These and other things is something that we care to sit there and talk about and bring out for reference purposes. This, brothers and sisters, is on the platform Mora Yeshaya Torah Lessons, Mora Yeshaya History Lessons, and a Facebook profile, Yeshaya Author Danite. My friend typed in, they're remixing the history, and you're absolutely right. Maybe, perhaps, they know America not trying to play prophet. It's crumbling down, so they're willing to sit there and give it up to anybody who wants it. And maybe we black people, no disrespect intended, been in America too long to where we start to think, yeah, maybe this is ours. Maybe we were, a quote, originally here and so forth and so on, and then come from somewhere else. Maybe we did not understand the people who spoke upon a matter in slavery being brought to Georgia that stated that they come from continental Africa. Maybe we did not read or understand when the black women were being interviewed in the 1930s and said that their mothers and grandmothers were shipped from Ghana and places of that kind of sort. Maybe we forgot or did not fathom that it is generally understood that the roots of Harriet Tubman go back to the people in Ghana, brothers and sisters. So these are things that we care to sit there and bring out, say for reference purposes. We, quote unquote, black people are the only people who are asked to prove where you come from after being told that you should not and could not read for over 200-300 years. Did you understand what I'm saying? The last slave ship to be recorded is called the Clotilda ship. This has even been noted inside of History magazine by authenticated sources. The Clotilda ship, brothers and sisters, back, say, in the 1860s, sailed up what we call today the Mississippi River. So how can that be the case? And then we also say, well, we are not from there. No, just like the Arabs in Egypt, you've been there too long, so you start to think that this is yours. No, it is not. And as this man Trump is in office, we begin to see maybe more and more this is not ours. A brother presented some time ago to say the autochthonous community, saying, in other words, we're not even indigenous. We didn't come from nowhere else on this earth but the Western Hemisphere. So how can we sit there and say that? You have to first disassociate yourself with the black man, women, and child in the West Indies. That's the first thing you have to do. Because, see, correct me if I'm wrong, the island of Jamaica is smaller than the state of New Jersey. So in the United States, as pointed out by Edward W. Blyden in his book, Christianity, Islam, and the Negro Race, written in 1888, brothers and sisters, it is easy to separate a people from Georgia to South Carolina, and then from North Carolina into Mississippi, and then say from Delaware to Louisiana, than it is to separate a people from Negril to Kingston, two different parishes in the same island that's smaller than the state of New Jersey. So this is something we want to point out. Black people in America, quote unquote, black Americans, whether you say you're fundamental black Americans or not, brothers and sisters, the only way to sit there and to associate the separation and the claim of us being in only North America as in the United States. Not to be funny, Trinidad is also part of North America, but okay, let's get back to the subject matter. You have to sit there and disassociate from the black people in South America, the Negro Brazilians, if you will. You have to disassociate brothers and sisters from the people that are in Jamaica, that are in Trinidad, that are in Barbados. The people you see, for those who are into it, the West Indian Day Parade that you see going with the float up and down Eastern Parkway. You have to disassociate. While many black people in America, the United States, I'm saying, love Biggie Smalls, may he rest in peace. His mother comes from the Caribbean. We love Malcolm X, may he rest in peace. His mother comes from the Caribbean. So for quote unquote black Americans, quote unquote, to sit there and state, oh, only 3% or 6%, you done cut off Biggie Smalls' mother, you done cut off Malcolm X's mother. Do you see where we're going with this? One ship landed in Jamaica, another ship in Virginia. One ship landed in South Carolina, another ship in Trinidad. So brothers and sisters, these are the things taking maybe respect for advantages or quote unquote Black History Month to sit there and get into this for reference purposes. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. We do not, again, profess to know everything, and we are open to constructive criticism. So, Shalom, Sister Savannah. Shalom, Israel Young Lion. He wrote in, I got Haitian descent. I don't associate with those parallels. Those parallels are for Baal. Definitely understood. Because now let's look at it. Correct me if I'm wrong. The definition of Haiti means high mountain. The definition of Barbados comes from the Portuguese word meaning beard, like the beard a man would have on his face. America was named after Amerigo Vespucci, who was before Columbus. And we're going to talk about Columbus in this short presentation, brothers and sisters. So these are things that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. It is one thing to be a person who does not claim to be of the house of Israel, to be an Israelite, and say that we are from this place here. Because yes, there were people, as you will call black people, in the Western Hemisphere prior to the Atlantic slave trade. But we're not going to sit there and allow anyone to minimalize the oppression that happened by saying 3%, only 6%. You're not getting away with that with somebody checking it. You understand? And this is how a disease can fester, because it starts small, not checked, and then it can grow. Because what it is essentially is this, and I hate to have to say it, a money grab. Because you can't say you want reparations for slavery and the oppression that happened in your own land. If this is your land, do what the people who are the farmers in southeastern Africa did to the white people and kick them out. Kick out these people. Kick Trump out. That's what you do. You don't sit there and ask for the currency with Washington on it, who took black people's teeth out and worked black people to his death and then say, okay, now you're free. You don't sit there and take the currency with Lincoln on it, who put black people in Missouri back into slavery after a guy named Fremont freed the black people there. You don't take the currency of Hamilton upon it with the $10 bill when he was if and any once it came down to slavery. You don't take the currency with the Jackson on the $20 bill, who, brothers and sisters, enslaved his own children that he had from black women. You don't take the currency, brothers and sisters, on the $50 bill with Grant, who was the 18th president, but also was a slave master. You don't take the currency of Franklin on the $100 bill as a form of reparations, knowing good and well that Hamilton and Franklin were said to not be slave masters, but were if and any about it. So from the $1 bill with Washington, $5 bill with Lincoln, the $10 bill with Hamilton, the $20 bill with Jackson, the $50 bill with Grant, and then the $100 bill with Franklin, none of them opposed slavery. And by the way, the $2 bill with Jefferson on it, he had over 500 slaves. So, brothers and sisters, we have to sit back and think. You cannot play the double fence. When, may he rest in peace, Freddie Gray in Maryland was killed by the police, his mother accepted the state of Maryland through the city of Baltimore, giving her money, if we will, brothers and sisters. You understand? You know what I mean as far as it goes with that. So, want to make sure my mic is working. If I can be heard well and people are in good spirits, please type in the number 4, because this time, unlike the other night, I don't have it to where I can hear myself. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we care to point out. The people you have on the currency dollar bill, that some of the people saying, we were never in slave ships, or it was just not that many. Thank you, Shavania, sister. Thank you, my brother, Israel Young Lion. You cannot sit there and then want to sit there and claim reparations. Because, see, once you take that reparation money, you have then sat there and stated you have gotten your recompense. Freddie Gray's mother, may Freddie Gray rest in peace, could not sit there and take the state of Baltimore to court, because she accepted the money from the state. So, black people, brothers and sisters, if you are looking for court reparations, being with, as stated, for those who just joined on, thank you for joining on, Washington on the 1, who used to take out black people's teeth, Lincoln on the 5, who put black people back in slavery and fired the guy who freed them, Fremont, what's his name, Hamilton on the 10, who was if and any about slavery, Jackson on the 20, who, brothers and sisters, was essentially about enslaving his own children that he had from black women. Grant on the $50 bill, who was fighting for the Union North but had slaves of his own. And, brothers and sisters, Franklin on 100, who was if and any about slavery. If that's where you think your payout is going to come to in reparations, you can't be the same people saying that we were never enslaved. What you need to do, like the black presidents in Southeast Africa did, is kick the white people out from being farmers. Keep the white people out from your own land. Don't sit there and ask for their currency and then play 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I was part of the slave trade victims, and oh yeah, well, this is my land too. We're not doing that. That's an unbalanced weight, people. You understand? So these are things that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. So we're going to, without any further ado, pull up the PowerPoint, brothers and sisters, and I hope it can be seen at this point. If we will, thank you for that. Yep, because I can see it on my phone. Giving honor to the Most High, the one who sees all and is not seen, the one who judges all and is not judged. Let us, if we will, in this presentation, a question to ask. Africa or America? Forward. This short presentation is brought to you by Danitepublications. We want to ask a question here. Africa or America? This subject has been talked about or talked on before. But the proponents of those who say we are indigenous or autochthonous, in other words, never from any other place, to this Western Hemisphere, are also saying we are not the children of Israel. So the brothers and sisters who say Africa, what? That ain't us. They also, at the same token, are saying that we are not the people of the scriptures. But correct my timeline if it's off. But it seemed like more on the internet, when Israelites began to talk about Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, that's when some of these other people just seem to pop up. Not trying to be funny or nothing like that, if you will. Not trying to be funny or nothing like that. See, these people I'm going to mention right now are stars, so I'm not fully aware of it. But when Kanye West said that the blacks are the real Jews, or said that the white Jews are not the real Jews, Beyonce sometime later is shown wearing some kind of Egyptian kind of Hathor, the goddess thing, to get people more back into a Hamitic kind of culture and not investigating what this said nut, quote unquote nut, Kanye had to say about who the true Jews are. Right around the same time, Kanye West was saying the white people are not the real Jews that you see. All of a sudden, Beyonce is now showing herself as a black woman into a Hamitic culture. Is that by chance? I don't know. But it seems, brothers and sisters, when Israelites, black people, began to sit there and talk about us being the children of Israel, and our land is over there in the east. And brothers and sisters, there are black people who left Chicago and Detroit, say some decades ago, and went to Israel, live in Rich Per Ramon, live in the land of Dimona to this day. And when they got there, in part, they went under what they call the law of return. As long as you feel you are, quote, Jew in your heart, you can go. Now, most Israelites back then in 1968, 1969, 1970, 1971 were first generation understanding themselves as Israel. So the Jewish people did in the land of Israel, they changed it for, quote, you can feel you're a Jew in your heart to saying your mother has to be a Jewish person. Because maybe they felt too many, quote, black people were going into the land. You understand? Looking at it, say in that particular case. So Israel, before the internet, we were not the biggest secret. They knew about us before certain things came out on the internet. They knew about the congregations. You understand? They knew about the teachers in the house of Israel. You understand? So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to bring out for reference purposes. Perhaps they know this society is on a plummet and falling, so we'll give it to the Negroes. Just like when a white man couldn't survive in Jamaica, he went back to England, and black people are left in Jamaica. Couldn't sit there and survive in Trinidad, so you went back to England and France and Spain, and you went to these other places in Europe, but in North America, as in the United States, the said white man stayed here. So I want to say maybe like the Arabs, brothers and sisters, being in Egypt too long, you start to believe that you are Egyptian and others are not. We black people been in America too long. I'm Afro-American, I'm Black American, I'm African-American. You've been in here changing your name for too long to where you start thinking this is now you in the West. So perhaps that's the case. Maybe the Arabs that are in the land of Egypt and Northeast Africa forgot about what happened after the Roman Empire and still during the Byzantine Empire when the Arabs went over into Egypt. The Arab Invasion of Egypt by Alfred Butler is a book that you can pick up again. The author, Alfred Butler, he wrote a book called The Arab Invasion of Egypt. You've been in there too long. You may have started to think that this is actually your land and that you were the people of the old kingdom of Egypt. No, you are not. No more, brothers and sisters, that we were the black people on the plains in Montana fighting the Europeans. No, that was not us. If you want to know what happened with said black people when slavery was no longer legal in the United States, the Cherokee said, we're going to keep these N-words. Did you know that in 1842, black people rose up against their slave masters in Oklahoma? And the slave masters they rose up against were not white. Native Americans had black people as slaves. So, brothers and sisters, when you begin to do a little research, a little history, and things of that kind of nature, we begin to sit there and see certain things in that matter. Recently, however, some have stated that they are from this Western land, what is now the United States, and are the children of Israel. Yet the land of Israel is not and never was in this Western hemisphere. So we have to ask how. How are you saying you are an Israelite, but this is your land here in the West? When did the scattering happen? You quote Deuteronomy 28, one part. You quote Leviticus 26, another part. But we want to ask something concerning that kind of matter, because it says you shall be scattered from one end of the earth to the other, which means, no disrespect intended, the 12 tribe chart. We're going to have a presentation about that later on in Black History Month. Scriptural references disproving the 12 tribe chart part 3 is going to be coming up. Creator willing, we want to present this to the people. Because the 12 tribe chart that Israelites do use at times essentially shows us the Western Hemisphere. Deuteronomy 28 says from one end of the earth to the other. Not just displaced and put in another land, but scattered. And the scattering happened for a while, brothers and sisters, for those who do know. So let's continue in this, if we will, family. Right? As I see the comments now, somebody typed in Prince David, elevating greatness, Ben Ami. Shalom, all praises to the Almighty Yah Supreme. Keep up the great work. Thank you too, my friend. Ben Ami, may he rest in peace. I met him twice in my life. I met Ben Ami first when I was 10 years old. He came to a place in Brooklyn that was open in New York called the Slave Theater. I met Ben Ami once at that time when I was 10. And then I met Ben Ami again when I was 17. And Ben Ami, I want to say this, brothers and sisters, is not here to speak for himself. The leader who took people over into the land of Israel. All right? If my friend Prince David is still in the matter of what we're talking about. As stated, I met Ben Ami twice in my life. One when I was 10 years old and the other time when I was 17. Brothers and sisters. Right? I didn't speak to him either of those times. It was so crowded. I was just like, wow. I remember his associate, may he rest in peace too, Nasik Asiel. I remember seeing, I forget their names, the ambassadors that came from Dimona to the land of the United States. There were two elders. Do not ask me what their names are. I do forget. They look like twins, one taller than the other. And one of them asked me a question where we were in New York, in Brooklyn, I believe. And he asked me, he said, bro, where you live, young brother? At this point, seeing Ben Ami's ambassador to New York, I forget his name, please, all right? And I said, oh, I'm over, I'm in Queens, I'm in Jamaica, Queens. And then he looked, knowing New York, he was like, oh, you in Jamaica, Queens, huh? And I say that maybe his spirit to me was, Israel, Israel, get out of America. He didn't say that to me as a child, not having the ability to do so at that point in my life. But he did sit there and state that in spirit. Like, oh, you in Jamaica, Queens. Oh, ye son of Yisrael. All right. As if we should not sit there and get our passports and make moves. You understand? And again, this is no disrespect intended. I met people from Dimona who, not to be disrespectful, left Dimona and went to Jordan. Left Dimona, came back to the United States and said, I can't take the States. I'm going back home. So again, like camps and congregations, sometimes people leave. I've met several people who left from the community in Dimona, but didn't want to stay in America. They still in the land of Israel in many cases. So I'm saying that to say this. Look at one of the oldest communities calling themselves Beta Yisrael, but are called Falashas. They went to the land of Israel. They wasn't looking to go over to Utah, with some people talking about where the land of Israel is. They ain't looking to go to Peru, with some people saying where Jerusalem is. The Beta Yisrael, going there at different points in times in history. Some of them say from Assyrian captivity, some say from the Babylonian captivity, because they went there at different times and stages. But if Isaiah the prophet prophesied between the timing of King Uzziah and the timing of King Hezekiah, Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah were the kings of Judah that were ruling when Isaiah was a prophet. And Isaiah 11 mentions Israel going to the land of Cush, which is Ethiopia. So this is not a new thing. So when you find people in the Jewish thing talking about Amishav, my people return, kind of matter, and them going to the land of Israel, the Beta Yisrael, who thought at one point all Jews in the world were black, according to what they're saying, Adisu Malah is the guy, Adisu, he's in the Jerusalem Chronicle paper saying such. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. And not to be funny, some people left like they leave camps. Some people of the Beta Israel left from being in Gondar and Ethiopia and elsewhere. So, brothers and sisters, these things to point out, there's nobody coming over here, and I hate to have to say this, not to sound racial or racist. Only the white man came over to the West looking for the land in the East, yo. Christopher Columbus and others or whoever else, not knowing geography. You didn't go to the West African School of Socorro, where they taught geography, where Dahomey people already came over and did trade with indigenous people in the Caribbean of today. When you read the book, They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Sertima. Only the white man came to the Western Hemisphere looking for the East. The Beta Israel in Ethiopia know where the land of Israel is. Ben Ami and his associate Nasik Asiel, may they rest in peace, they knew where the land of Israel was. There are Israelites by claim in India, East India, saying that they are from the tribe of Manasseh from the house of Joseph. Did you know that? There are East Indians saying that they are the children of Israel, and saying that after Assyria fell, part of the tribe of Joseph went over by where Bombay is of today. And they know where the land of Israel is. There is a group of people in Kaifeng, China, that lay claim to being the children of Israel. All the way in China. Much respect to the elder who taught, if we will. More Makia Uriel. And he spoke about Isaiah the prophet in Isaiah 49 when it says these from the west and these from the land of Sinim. Sinim, brothers and sisters, is China. So if we may have people coming from China talking about they're the children of Israel, they're not looking to go to Peru in South America. They're not looking to go to Utah. It's only black people who may not travel, don't study, and I say that in no disrespect because I just started traveling. And the white man who went on the boat with Christopher Columbus looking for something Jerusalem in the Caribbean. They're the idiots who didn't know geography. They're the ignorant ones who did not understand where to travel to. Again, Christopher Columbus looking for the East went west because you a fool. Everybody else mentioned Ben Ami, Beta Israel in Ethiopia, Shinlung people in East India, and Chinese, quote unquote, Chinese Jews in Kaifeng, China, all of them say where the land of Israel is, and they all saying this in the same place. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. And yes, traveling broadens your vision. Traveling broadens your vision. Doing this matter with the pandemic, and I don't even know if I should use the word online. I was in the South, and I found out, staying in the South, that I had too much Brooklyn, New York in me. So as the sister Shavania pointed out, traveling broadens your vision. Yes, it does. I found out I had too much Brooklyn, New York when I was staying in the South. When I went to Costa Rica with the sister I used to court with, I found out I had too much America in me. So yes, traveling does broaden your mind. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. All right? Now, old Negro spirituals, rocking in the bosom of Abraham, go down Moses, Ezekiel's will. Do you know most of the Negro spirituals are from the so-called Old Testament? The Tanakh? Ezekiel's will, go down Moses. I saw a play at the Apollo some time ago. brothers and sisters. Right? And the people playing were playing people who were enslaved. And one of the females that was in the play said, he delivered the Hebrews in Egypt, he can deliver us. Nat Turner used that as a catalyst, brothers and sisters. So these things, again, are things that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. But we wanted to sit there. It's all good. Shalom, my brother. How are you doing? Yes, they kept our people enslaved. Yeah, they actually went against America, the United States law after 1865 and kept us enslaved, brothers and sisters. Prince David wrote, yeah, I met his brothers from Chicago. What he did was powerful. Shavania Bat Yahuda wrote, I heard that before. Yes, there are people in East India referred to as Shinlung that say that they are from the tribes of Joseph. And they saying the land of Israel is the same place where the black man coming out of Chicago and Detroit saying that, yeah, it's over in the East. The Beta Yisrael, and mind you, the Jewish people in the land of Israel tried to make a problem between the Beta Israel that they keep in Haifa in northern Israel and the people in Dimona in southern Israel. They try to sit there and keep them separated, for those who do know. So these are things, again, that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. We hope and pray that everybody is well and will be better. Brothers and sisters, let's continue in this and give an honor to the Most High. I thought at my job, because I worked last night, I thought I was going to be stuck doing a double. No, the relief came at the job, and I was able to sit there and now do this kind of presentation to the people, giving honor to Yah. So these are things, brothers and sisters, we care to bring out for reference purposes. All right? And as the sister Shavania wrote, they don't want us to come together. Yeah. And I mean not to shame myself, brothers and sisters. When I was a boy and I'm now a man and I don't do the things that I did when I was a boy, like steal things, ever so often I talk about it, I didn't want the receipt in mommy's hands to come together. Because the next thing that came together was the belt on my behind from her. And brothers and sisters, I despise stealing now at 44 years old. I stopped decades ago. And I want to say this sidebar. The Most High said to Cain, sin crouched out the door, and to you it's his desire. So not only is the Most High telling you that it's at the door, like it's next to you, it's to you is his desire. The Most High telling you, I see your heart. You want to do that, but you can rule over it. So don't listen to these nations talking about obey your thirst. Obeying my thirst is why a brother now takes a thing called not metformin, but bitter melon. My sugar got too high. They said, we need to put you on metformin. And I wound up going to Israel, and I wound up going to other brothers and sisters who don't even claim to be Israel and said, what's good for diabetic, pre-diabetic, type 2, quote unquote. And they said bitter melon. You know who said that? A lady from the Caribbean who was a nurse in the hospital I was in. So Black Americans, stop disrespecting those from the Caribbean. The person who told me initially about the thing that I take that makes my A1C sugar level go down, bitter melon, that you can get from GNC or the vitamin shop or on Amazon, because when you take the metformin, it damages your kidneys. Bitter melon, made by the Most High, does not have any side effects that are negative. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to bring out for reference purposes. All right? So yes, let us continue in this kind of matter. Looking at it like this, if we will. And the sister typed in, hallelujah, meaning praise Yah. All right? So let's get into this, brothers and sisters, in this matter. All righty. Thank you for that. Pulling up the PowerPoint again, if we will. Thank you for that, family. Let's look at this, family. Something to talk about. Let's look at this very, very carefully. From 1670 to 1720, more Indians, in other words, they who were already here, Native Americans, as some call them, more Indians were shipped out of Charleston, South Carolina, than Africans were imported as slaves. And Charleston was a major port for bringing in Africans, noted by Ohio State University. Who were you before 1492? Brothers and sisters, let's look at this. You cannot post this thing here and deny the Atlantic slave trade going west. Brothers and sisters, such as ourselves, who speak about the Atlantic slave trade going east, don't deny it. Want a reference point? There's a book called Black Indians, written by a guy named William Katz, K-A-T-Z, that speaks about King James, you know, the one who made the published, quote unquote, the famous King James Bible, that King James used to sit there and have indigenous people shipped to England from the United States. That's not denied, brothers and sisters. So yes, there is a book out there that speaks upon that. But you're not going to, at the same token, minimalize it's just 3%, it's just 6%. See that word just, and you don't mean justice, you mean just like, yeah, it's just that. Yeah, well. No, that's not going to rock or be successful, and nobody could check upon that. You understand? So if you're posting or feel this flyer or meme on the left side, right? Let's do it like this, if we will. You just admitted in there that there were people from Africa brought over, according to Ohio State University, to the Western Hemisphere as slaves. These are things we care to bring out. The flyer or the meme that you see on the right side is what a sister did for me. Daniel 7 and the Atlantic slave trade, which is on the channel, Mori Yeshaya Torah lessons, Mori Yeshaya history lessons, and you can scroll. This was done maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago in a presentation. Daniel chapter 7 speak about Babylon, Media, Persia, Greece, and Rome. And one of the things, not to get sidetracked, there are brothers and sisters saying that Daniel 7 doesn't include the Roman Empire and prophecy, but the prophecy in Daniel chapter 7, brothers and sisters, speaks about Israel being a great kingdom forever and ever. And this is no disrespect or knock against brothers and sisters on a platform who will hear this now or later who are messianic. But in the New Testament, in Revelation 20, it says that they who did not receive the mark of the beast and were beheaded for, quote, the Lamb shall rule with Christ for 1,000 years. The difference, in no disrespect, between Revelation 20 is 1,000 years. The matter in the book of Daniel chapter 7 says that the kingdom shall be with them forever, even forever and ever. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to bring out for reference purposes. You understand? And let's look at this, if we will. You're saying from 1670 to 1720. Let me ask you this. If you are the indigenous people of this land here, why are you not opening up the doors to get the people to come back? Why in 2019, the people in Ghana and West Africa, you understand, were saying, come back home. Come back home. People in Africa, in part, open up the doors. You understand? If you're saying that you are indigenous or autochthonous to this land here, then why are you not opening up the doors for the brothers and sisters sailed so long ago to come back? Why, if the Jewish man being vindictive is the true house of Israel, you want to imprison a man some decades ago that was 93 years old or 94 years old because he was a Nazi, and you want him incarcerated while he's in his 90s? You're vindictive. So if you're that vindictive to want a man who's in his 90s who was a former Nazi to be incarcerated, why, Jewish man, are you okay with the Dome of the Rock, which is Islam, which is against the culture of Israel, and what you're saying is Jerusalem? Because the Israelites in the land say what they show you as Jerusalem is not Jerusalem, but what they talk about as Arad is the true Jerusalem. There are Israelite communities in the land of Israel that say that Dome of the Rock and all of that busy place that you see, they on Channel 7, say Jerusalem is really in the land of Ephraim of ancient Israel, and Jerusalem is further south than that land. There are Israelites saying that. I'm like, okay, by the land of Arad of today, if you will. I've heard this from brothers and sisters that are in the Holy Land to this day. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to sit there and bring out for reference purposes. You're vindictive. Why are you not dealing with the descendants of the Ptolemies and the Seleucids who sat there and ransacked Jerusalem? Why are you not dealing with the family of the Flavian people, Titus, his father Vespasian, and Titus's brother Domitian? Why are you not going over there to the Vatican or wherever the archer Titus shows them taking the menorah, the altar, and the trumpets that Domitian of Rome had erected in 71 AD? Brothers and sisters, why are you not sitting there going into getting that stuff back? Is because you know it's not yours. I'm going to be raw in this, if we will. And I hope I don't get in trouble online for saying this. 9/11. September 11th, 2001. A brother was in southern Manhattan. I saw the plane go by the building. May those who died rest in peace. Talking about what happened September 11th, 2001. In the beating ahead, and we ain't going to be the same since. Companies moved out of New York. A lot of people moved out of New York since and due to that time. Right? Tuesday, September 11th, 2001. How are you September 12th? Family, I want you to hear what a brother's going to say, if we will. Right? Yep, the camera works. How are you September 12th? Have across the screen, Wednesday, September 12th, 2001. How do you have across the screen, call this number to report to work? The day after the towers got hit. That's a question to ask. You just got attacked on quote unquote Tuesday. But brothers and sisters, on quote unquote Wednesday, you got a thing like I got my number across the screen there. They had it across the screen. Call this number here to report to work. You can work at 57th Street. You can work at our other offices. But you just got attacked by surprise. So I'm going to ask you again. How are you so prepared in less than 48 hours? And less than 24 hours after the second building fell on September 11th to tell people where to go after their office has been demolished? It's because you knew what it was about. That's why you was not that worried about it. You was okay blaming the people who are Arabians and Muslims. You was okay having them go to Yankee Stadium singing in Arabic in regards with 9/11. Because you knew it was not them who did it. And I say I want to be raw in this. It was a Friday in 1993. I got attacked by some guys. I very rarely talk about this kind of stuff. Walking from school, these guys decided it was a good idea for them to beat me up. And they did. They jumped me. That was on a Friday. The friend that I was with ran away. And see, on Danitepublications, Israel, we come real. This is not religious. We talk raw. No more cursing. No more cursing on the platform, but real. When I got attacked by those guys on that Friday, that next Monday, when I went to school, brothers and sisters, I'm looking at everybody suspect. I'm looking at my friend who ran away. Like, yo, Duke, you just left me like that? I'm looking at the people in the school, like who knows who, who's friends with who. The girls in the school heard about it, like, oh, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Those guys are cowards. Those guys are punks. They couldn't handle a one-on-one, so they maybe wanted to sit there and make 5-on-1 or 6-on-1. Those guys are the cowards. Those guys are the punks. That's what I was saying to the girls that was asking me how I was doing that Monday after getting attacked by some guys the Friday before. Here's the point. I didn't expect to get attacked. So after the attack, I'm wondering, like, who's there? What's going on? I don't want to be around certain kind of people anymore for this point. 2 days after that Monday was a Wednesday. I saw one of the guys that attacked me. And you know how he looked? That's why I wanted to put the camera on in that case. He did not know if I came with 5 or 6 people to avenge, which I did not. And I hate to have to say, to my knowledge, if those kind of guys didn't change, you know where their future is. So, brothers and sisters, these are things that we care to talk about for reference purposes. The reason why they was okay on 9/11 and then September 12th to say come on in to work the day after is because they knew who was behind it. The reason why the Jewish man don't go over and try to get the stuff that the Romans took is because you are the Romans that are now in Jerusalem. You are the Japhetic nations mixed in with the children of Esau. That's you. So you're not going to incriminate yourself. You don't care to sit to get the menorah back that you see in the Arch of Titus, created by his brother Domitian, Titus's brother Domitian. You understand? But that Monday after that attack upon me, I'm now looking and wondering what's going on and who is who. 2 days after that Monday, one of the guys that did the attack, when he saw me, he was looking like, oh no, is he going to want to retaliate? See, those kind of feelings come up when you know that you're a part of something, either the victim or the aggressor, the oppressor or the victim. The Ku Klux Klan was created, the KKK, Ku Klux Klan was created in 1866, the year after slavery was illegal, because according to the Klan, they was thinking the black people wanted to revolt and sit there and get revenge. So they created a thing called the Ku Klux Klan in some state, either I heard Illinois, I heard Indiana, but it was created nonetheless. Benjamin Buford Forrest, part of the Confederate people, in 1866, because they thought, perhaps seeing how the black man was fighting in the Civil War, these people are going to want to retaliate. So we got to now protect ourselves. We got to get our defenses together. So you're not thinking like that when you already know there's nobody to be defensive against, because you knew what you did on 9/11. You know what you did in 70 AD. You understand what I'm saying? And you knew what you did when you try to sit there and wiggle out of something. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to bring out for reference purposes. Let's pull up the PowerPoint again, if we will. Hoping and praying everybody as well and will be better. You're posting a meme that essentially is saying the same thing historians say in books. People calling themselves Africans is only a new thing. People calling themselves Indians is only a new thing. So those are bywords, and there's more than bywords that just given to Israel. So let's look at this, brothers and sisters. The places Columbus went to and questions. I'm going to leave that up. Take an intermission, if we will. Be right back, family. Thank you for that. Go and play some music, if we will. Thank you. Be right back, family. All right, thank you for that. We're going to stop that part. Thank you for that. How's everybody feeling? Hoping and praying everybody is well. We're going to continue in this, giving honor to the Most High, the Creator, the Maker of heaven and earth. Let's look at this, brothers and sisters. The places Columbus went to. None of them is in what you call the United States. And that Puerto Rico is the Commonwealth of it now. But all of them places, the Canary Islands, San Salvador, Cuba, Hispaniola, today known as Dominican Republic and Haiti, Santa Maria Island, all the dates you see are there. Dominica, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Trinidad, Venezuela. There are questions to ask. To the people saying that we were here already and not through captive matters in the Western Hemisphere to the Western Hemisphere, and you're still saying you're an Israelite, we got to ask this. What is the way of the land of the Philistines in the Western Hemisphere? That's a question. You understand? Exodus 13 says that the children of Israel, by the Most High, were not led into the Holy Land, the Promised Land, by way of the land of the Philistines, even though that was near, in case the children of Israel saw war and then they go back to Egypt. That's in Exodus. So where is that on the map in the United States of today? What is the Great Sea? That is a border of the Promised Land. Because see, geographically, the Holy Land is given its dimensions inside of the book of Numbers 34. So if it says the Great Sea shall be your western border, where is that in the Western Hemisphere? Who are the Canaanites that were around Joshua? Joshua chapter 10. The people scattering was before the ships. Leviticus 26. Because Israel was scattered since the timing before Zechariah. The scattering continued over the course of centuries. And when the people, brothers and sisters, in closing out, fought in a Kittos battle against the Roman emperors in 115 through 117 AD, that were in Cyrenia, aka Libya. They were in northern Africa fighting against the Roman emperors to get back into the land of Israel. Hadrian of Rome made it illegal for the people of Israel to go into the Holy Land. Brothers and sisters, so with all of that being the case, how are we indigenous to this land here in the West? See, if you're saying you're not an Israelite, that works different. But if you're now saying you're an Israelite and you're saying this land in the West is yours, that's not what Deuteronomy shows us. That's not what Ezekiel shows us. Abraham came from the land of Ur of Chaldees, which we shown, quote unquote, Friday night, is in the land of the East, in the land of Iraq of today. And when he went into the land of Canaan or Canaan, unlike Columbus, the idiot looking to go to East by selling West, brothers and sisters, It says the Canaanite was in the land. It didn't say Abraham discovered the land. It did not say that. So there's a difference in the culture and the history and the mindset of the Hebrews and that of the conquistadors. The mindset of the Hebrews and the colonists. There is a difference, brothers and sisters. So these are things we care to bring out for reference purposes. When you read, for instance, in Exodus 13, it speaks about the way of the land of the Philistines. Where is that in the 50 states of the United States today? Where is the Great Sea? That's the western border. Because these things are done before the land of Israel became the land of Israel. It's already giving you the geographical matter. And the people matter. Who are the Canaanites that were around Joshua? And Joshua 10. Israelite prophecy. The people scattering was before the ships? Yes. Because the book of Zechariah already talks about Israel being scattered like a whirlwind among the nations. So, in closing out, brothers and sisters, and I say this in no offense to anybody, maybe, brothers and sisters, and I'm not trying to be funny, maybe black people been in America too long to where we start thinking it's ours. Maybe Khazarians that come not from the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but come from the line of Shem mixed in with Japhet. Because Edom is Shem mixed in with Japhet, the European Jews that you see in the land. Maybe you've been claiming it so long, you start to think that is actually you. Maybe we went from Black American, Afro-American, African-American to where we start thinking, hey, just American. Maybe you've been in Egypt too long, ye sons of Ishmael, to where you start thinking, not through Hagar, the Egyptian, your mama, but that you are the people of Ramses and the Amenophis and the people of the old kingdom, like Aha and Namer, and the people of the fourth dynasty of Egypt. No, you wasn't. It's called the United Arab Republic. Isaiah the prophet says Egypt shall be known by a new name. You're not that people. No more than the Jewish people are the people of the land of Israel. And brothers and sisters, I want to conclude this in saying this about renaming and people and so forth. The Moors in history went to Spain in the 8th century AD and was excommunicated or expelled from Spain, brothers and sisters, in the 15th century AD. If I can be heard well and people in good spirits, please type in the number 4. Thank you for that. Iberia, as It's So Good pointed out, is Spain. The Moors that were there under General Tariq, according to Rudolf Windsor in his book, From Babylon to Timbuktu, General Tariq would be from the tribe of Simeon, though his Islamic way was his religion. Simeon being one of the tribes of Israel. But brothers and sisters, that's according to Rudolf Windsor in his book, From Babylon to Timbuktu, for those who are interested. But brothers and sisters, let me say this. Arabians going into Egypt and claiming to be the Egyptians of old is like the Moors going into Iberia or Spain and saying they are the people of old Castile. No, you're not. Ferdinand and Isabella knew good and well those Negroes that went to that land were not of the people of Spain of old. The true Egyptians know that Mr. Muhammad in Egypt is not the true Egyptians. And the black Arabs and the other Arabs that are in Hebron to this day know that the Khazar Jews are not the true people of Jerusalem. It was only an idiot named Columbus who came to the West looking for the land of Jerusalem, citing the Apocrypha and Esdras about 10 tribes after Assyria fell coming over here to the West. If that is the case, that means the scattering still happened. So these are things, brothers and sisters, that we care to point out. if you're citing the book of Ezra in the Apocrypha, saying that they went through the Euphrates and traveled a year and a half into a land that nobody knew, and some Israelites are teaching that that is in the Western Hemisphere, that means the land that they came to, according to the book of Ezra, chapter 13, in the Apocrypha, is still not your land. See, you can't quote Ezra saying after Assyria fell, certain tribes of Israel came over through the Euphrates and went a year and a half on dry land to a new land that no man dwelt. That's a teaching coming out of that. Wherever those people went is not their homeland. When you even read in Ezra chapter 13 itself, we didn't want to go back there to the southern kingdom, so we decided to sit there and go to another land. That's according to that understanding. But even if you take that, you're still not in your homeland by default, coming over here to the west. Again, not to be redundant, it was only the idiot not knowing geography, Cristobal Colombre, aka Christopher Columbus, who went west looking for a land that's in the east. And black people, maybe we stayed in America too long. Let's leave. Giving honor and praise unto the Most High, Creator, Maker of heaven and earth. We hope and pray everybody is well and will be better. We are going to, brothers and sisters, stop that if we will. And we're going to stop that if we will. And we're going to, if we will, do that again if we will. And we want to, brothers and sisters, do this matter here, right? And looking at it, nope, I have to change that. In that case, I got to get quicker with this. Sorry about that, family. All right. Looking at it like this, if we will. I want to go here, if we will. Show this in real time as much as possible, if we will. All right. Again, my number, 908-587-4841. You can reach out in that particular case. If the brother who reached out to me is listening, I want to apologize because I was dealing with a lot, and I know that we were supposed to communicate about handling some stuff regarding study material. So, being more settled in life now, able to do things a little, say, different in that particular case. All right, looking at this here, if you will. And the Egyptians and others were black. Tune in to Moreh Yeshaya as he speaks on this in topics of colonization, displacing of people, and renaming of places. Join Yeshaya as he speaks on this topic. Enjoy our Black History Month. You want to respectfully take advantage of the fact that our people are listening. So we're going to have a presentation, part 2, brothers and sisters. We did a presentation Shabbat night, so-called Friday night, called Black History Starring the Israelites. Today, at, say, 1 o'clock p.m., pardon me, 1 o'clock. Yeah, 1 o'clock p.m. this afternoon, Eastern Standard Time, we want to have a part 2, Black History Starring the Israelites, part 2, on the same platforms for those who are interested. All right? So, hoping and praying everybody is well and will be better. And I saved this for last in this case here. Israel, we may not agree on everything, but I'm going to have to say, as an Old Testament brother, as a Tanakh brother, you're going to have to find another Old Testament brother or sister if you want to debate. We're not doing this on this platform no more. No more profanity, No more debating, just presentations and being open to constructive criticism. So giving honor and praise unto Yah, the Most High. Shalom.